Aloha! I see everyone's back with Uncle Martin again. Fantastic. Maybe a few more people. I'm feeling maybe a couple more mice on both sides. Let's see. Just got back from my lawyers, which is interesting because there's always, as I said, there's always two ways to work on something, positive or negative. I had either he was an ignorant contractor, or he thought he knew what he was doing. I wasn't inclined to sell my property, and sometimes people kind of jump the gun, as they say. They took out my back fence. They took out my trees. They came into my backyard, started digging up with one of these big scoopers. I had to get a hold of my lawyer again. Well, now I've got lawyers. So we get tested, kids. Sometimes you get to arm wrestle, and sometimes, rather than taking the law into your own hands, it's best to get a lawyer or two. So I'll keep you abreast of that. It's looking very positive for Uncle Martin. That was one of my dad's last requests before he made his transition. He says, son, make sure no one steals the water. I said, Dad, no one's going to steal the water, Dad. No way. Because for 30 years plus, we had irrigation coming in Arizona, and it's against the law in Arizona for anybody to take your irrigation or irrigation pipes out. But go figure, kids. Sometimes, as they say, just people don't want to follow the law. So you have to, the positive thing would be to go through the legal system rather than take it into your own hands, which would, it was my test, but I passed it. I did not go negative. I figured, what the heck? I figure after I win this, I'll have even more money. So there you go. Okay, so let's get back to not old. I was going to say Reverend sister. She was a principal of the high school. I believe I left off on that little Mary note. And so I got to go to orientation, where you get all your books. So I was in 10th grade now. And after orientation, the next day, I'm putting stuff in my locker, and somebody pushes me. My head hits the locker. I turned around, and I didn't know the two brothers that I was dealing with. It was a tag team. One would hit you, and then the other one would jump in. I didn't know about that, but all I said was, "Hey, you want to get punched?" And Larry falls on he didn't fall. His brother, Gary, fell down on the grass and was rolling around laughing. Larry's laughing. He says, "Where are you from?" And I said, I just came in from New Jersey. I didn't tell him I had been there so many times in the past. But he says, "Is that, when you get out to Arizona, you don't ask that question. You don't ask if you want to get punched. You do it." And then they're laughing and joking. And I said, well, I went to rule number 2. I said, well, we're going to have to arm wrestle. He was more than happy to. I guess the bell rang. We had to get to homeroom. So at lunchtime, I got to arm wrestle Larry and won pretty easily. Didn't have to go to two more times, or even, I think we did one this way too. Beat them both times, left and right. They were amazed. And they asked me again, why did I ask that question? Do you want to get punched? And I thought about it. That was just one of the things we did in New Jersey, was we were polite. We asked. In fact, that's what happened. You say, hey, you want to get punched? And people thought about it and said, no, I don't want to get punched. So there was never a fight, But out west, they just worked a little differently. So after that, I guess I showed him walk. I forgot all about that. In 9th grade, I learned walking on my hands because in PE, I forgot to tell you, my dad had a PE teacher that knew me immediately because I looked like my dad's double. And he told us about walking on his hands, which I forgot again. This PE teacher every day used to walk around the whole track, the running track, on his hands. So you can imagine how massive this guy was. And that's what my dad learned also, walking on his hands. So he taught us that too. I totally forgot about that. When you walk around on your hands, kids, you build up so much strength. And I might as well tell you how to do it. Find a wall that you don't have pictures on. Put a pillow. Put a pillow down. Put your well, you think of yourself as a pyramid, a triangle. You put your hands out in front of you, and you'll be able to balance yourself when you put your head. Once you put your head on a pillow in the beginning, because you can hurt your head if you're not used to this. Then you put your feet up against the wall, and actually while you're up there like that, you can do some standing push-ups like that. Another great way to build up your little arm muscles for that arm wrestling that you'll be doing, I'm sure, down the road. So once you get that balance understood, then you can do it as a tripod, just standing right up on the floor. And then from there, you'll be able to walk around on your hands. You'll see you have to have your legs maybe folded over yourself a little bit. And then you'll be able to have your feet straight up at a certain point and then walk on your hands. They were amazed that anybody could do that. So then I was teaching them how to do that. So I made friends right off my first day in school. It happens that way. And once people see that you've gotten rid of the two bullies of the school, they all become your friends. It's amazing. And the rest of I was in 10th, so 11th and 12th, I didn't have any dealings with that. I don't know if it was just a Catholic school or something, but nobody seemed to be bullies there. We were a small Catholic school, and well, I'll leave it at that. So I don't think I have much to say except, let's see, that 10th went smoothly, 11th went smoothly. By the 12th grade, boy, this is going to zip right through, guys. The 12th grade, I guess that's when it happened. See, on the 11th grade, I got to just back up. The 11th grade, sister no longer was principal, and it was Reverend Father that came in from like Chicago, and he had some rules over the intercom, and I might tell you, oh yeah, my hair's on my hat, by the way. I didn't get a haircut. Everybody said, hey, you get a haircut? No, I did not. My hair at that time was past my collar, and they had a rule there. It couldn't go past your collar, and sister was always getting me to where she wanted detention, but I was able to have it cut just as close as you can to not pass the collar, not, I guess, just to your collar. Is that what it was? To your collar, yeah. So I always liked long hair. Even before the Beatles came out, so that maybe could be a past life. When the Reverend Father came in, he had these rules that the boys didn't have to wear ties anymore. We ripped them off, threw them in the air, and the dress code had been changed, and the girls were pretty upset. But he kind of made it fair because the girls and guys could wear like Levi's and stuff, where prior to that you had to have a tie and the whole gamut you get in parochial schools. The other thing he said was there's no more, your hair can be 2 inches past the bottom of your collar. Oh my God. So that was fantastic because then we could have our shoulder length hair rather than cropped a little bit. Now I was in wrestling and football, and everybody else had shorter hair, but I don't know. I just like longer hair. I'm just putting it out there on that. And then I guess it was junior year of high school that Reverend Father got a hold of, I guess we hit it off or something, and he called me in his office and said, I got this situation. I got a family coming in that I grew up with since I was a kid, and I've been great friends with both the mom and dad, and they've got 2 kids that are your age. So I want you to go home and ask your parents if it's okay for, well, he says, find another kid. I picked Tim. He had long hair like myself, but he was in baseball. We were Okay. So the point was is I had asked my parents if it was okay to go to Vegas, Las Vegas, and see, I was only like 16 or something, so you can't bet in Vegas, you know. But I had a mustache at that time, so I'm not going to say I was gambling or not. I will not implement myself there. But anyway, Tim got the okay by his parents. My parents said, yeah, no problem. So we drove. Father was sleeping in the back or something, and so Tim and I would drove to Vegas, and boy, that Lincoln sure did go fast. In fact, Father woke up a couple times. You better keep it under speed limit, on the speed limit. I think we did keep it like 95 or so, and it's a smooth ride. You couldn't tell. So we get there. We get a room. All the boys are in one room. I guess they're in their rooms, and we had the weekend there. That was fantastic. When we got back, I guess it went around the whole school. Sister found out. I guess she was assistant principal. She was the second in command, and she didn't look too happy at me when I got back. I don't know, maybe. But by the way, she did get my transcripts. She did not leave me alone for 2 weeks on my 10th grade. Finally, she said, if you don't have your transcripts by Monday, you're going to have detention. So I told Mom about it, and she said, well, I can't find them anywhere. I'll call your other high school, and we'll have them mailed to her address. So when she got me Monday, she said, where's the transcripts? I said, Mom doesn't have them. And then she said, I said, no, they'll be mailed to your box here because we know how important they are. Yeah. Well, when she got them, she really smiled. By the way, kids, I think I had a low C to D minus on my other high school. Just trying to, the transcripts you'll never get away from, kids. So make sure when you know that you have to play the game and you want an A or B, A is perfect. You gotta read. You gotta read what they have in store for you. As I said, I stayed with my promise to Dad, and I'm going to get to that. I had to go to, not summer school, I guess it was kind of a summer school. I had to take the courses on my after sophomore and junior year, my grade average still wasn't looking too positive. In fact, Sister had mentioned to my mom that if your son's going to graduate and he plans on going to college, he's going to have to take summer school. And so we did, and my mom says, well, what you'll do is you'll have to, well, I did. I guess I had English both times. The skeleton work, how to do pronouns and all that stuff. I'm still wondering why they make you do that skeleton work stuff, but that was my downfall. Somehow I got through the fractions and geometry and all that stuff, algebra. So I was getting more positive there, but the English stuff, nah. So Mom said if you type your answers, you'll get a higher grade. So I did. I was getting A's on both years, sophomore and junior. So now I'm into, by the way, I did end up taking a trade school from Phoenix Union because I thought, yeah, it looks like Dad was really excited about that. So I had gone, that was my second high school I went to. I took pattern work and sheet metal because me and Dad were always installing the air conditioning units or heating units in Jersey or Arizona, back and forth. And that's what he did when he wasn't teaching. And we got pretty fast and cool on that. And then I figured, well, after I learned the pattern work, I might as well go into carpentry. And that's what I did the second half, was to take carpentry. I can say Mr. Rich because that guy, bless his soul. All right, so this is how it happens, kids. I get through. I did another negative thing. I called it Friday the free day. And on Fridays, we'd go down to the Verde River instead of going to class. And you can't do that, kids. Or you can. It's going to be negative. And 2 weeks before I was going to graduate my Catholic school, Sister sister calls me in over the intercom during my homeroom. Mr. Uncle Martin, come to my... So I come in her and she says, sit down over there. And then I'm sitting down. She says, I just got off the phone with your mother and I left her in tears. I guess it was a trick question maybe, but I said, sister, you left my mother in tears? She says, yes, I did, and I didn't want to. And I said, well, sister, why did you leave her in tears? She waited for me to ask that question. She said, because you're not going to graduate. And I'm thinking, that's negative. Why would she say it that way? I think we had some karma, kids, and that's what happens when you have things to work out with people. Even negative things, they might think it's happy. But I said, well, why, sister, would I not be graduating? And she said, you missed too many days. And I added it up, and I thought, well, it's only like 52 days that I could think of. And I said, well, how many? I said, I don't think I missed that many. She says, oh, yes, we counted. You missed 38 days. And I thought, well, heck, it's less than I was thinking. And I said, and she says, you can only miss 18 days. I said, 18 days? Ooh, I didn't know that. Remember, kids, if you ever take off from school, find out what your school district is on how many days you could miss. Sick days. You're only supposed to be not going to school on sick days. And I failed to realize that. I didn't know the importance, so I'm trying to let you kids know ahead of time. Beware. So I said to sister, I said, well, what can I do? She says, you can't do nothing. There's nothing you can do. I said, but there must be something. And she said, no, you're one credit shy. And even if there was a miracle, you'd still have to pass all your exams with no less than a B. And as I told you kids, I had C to D on my grades. By the way, I have to just go back just a smidge. On my first fourth grade, out of my fourth grades, we were playing either Trouble with the Bubble or the Barrel Monkeys, where you had to pull that out. Grandpa, my grandfather, he had said during one of those games, he said, I think it was after Buona Fortuna, and he said, you know, there's going to be times in your life when it's coming down on you really negatively, and you're going to have to be able to finagle. His understanding of finagling, by the way, it could be many different things you would have to finagle. But he said finagling that he was giving me was that no matter how dark it looks coming down, there's always a way to turn it around to where it's positive for you. And I said, okay. I put it on the back shelf. So when sister said it'd be a miracle for me to do whatever I had to do to come through with that credit, she said, well, I said in my mind, I think, I better start finagling. That's exactly what I thought. Grandpa's words way back in years back. Sometimes it hits you that way, kids. Someone tells you something and you forget about it, and then all of a sudden it hits you like a ton of bricks. So I said to sister, sister, what happens if I can work it out to where I can get a credit? Would I then I'd be able to graduate? And she said, oh no, there's no way you could do that. No. And even if you did, you'd have to pass all your everything, all your exams with no less than a B. I said, okay, all right, sister, all right, I understand that. But I got this idea. I got a teacher over at Phoenix Union. I believe I can work something out with him. I believe since we're graduating here in May and we don't graduate over there until June, I could double up on my classes and I'd be able to get an extra credit. And she said, I don't think so. I said, sister, could you write out a form that if he signs this, I'll be able to get that extra credit? She says, yeah, I'll do that for you, but it's not going to happen, you know. So I took the paper over to Mr. Rich. I said, hey, Mr. Rich, I got a situation here. I'm not going to graduate on my other high school. He says, well, what's that got to do with me? I said, well, if I finish up, I got 2 weeks to go, and then I'll have another month plus here. If I double up on my classes, because I'm in the mornings here with you, and if I do in the afternoons, I would be able to have that missing credit that I need. And he said, yeah, he says, but he says, after I would sign this paper, what would I have that you would come back and finish doubling up your classes like you said you would? How would I know that? I mean, what do I got here? And I said, well, Mr. Rich, you don't have very much except my word in my hand. He shook my hand, signed the paper. I get back to school because I immediately wanted to show sister what I had there. And she says, oh my goodness, he signed this? I said, yes, sister, he did. So now I'm gonna be doubling up, and this means I've got that credit. And she said, yeah, looks like you do. Well, and then I said, well, sister, would you mind calling my mom back? Because, you know. And she said, what? What? You expect me to call your mother after I just left her in tears? Kids, I thought, what is this? Candid camera or something? Is this a trick question? I said, absolutely, sister. I would like you to do that. And I didn't tell her I wasn't leaving that seat until she did. So she calls mom. I could hear from where I was, yeah, yeah. I could hear my mom screaming, yay. And and then sister says, yes, he does have that credit now, but he has to pass with no less than a B, or he can't graduate. If he doesn't pass his exams, but no less than a B, he can't graduate. And she didn't go and say, well, she in her mind, you know, she was thinking, well, this kid's got a D, or pretty much a D minus, and a C to C minus to a D minus. And it was looking like miracle time again, I guess, you know. I mean, so this just really keeps getting better and better. My mom was elated when I got home, and I guess it was Friday. That was Friday that this is happening, and well, Monday. It would have been. I had until Monday, 2 weeks. See, sister told me 2 weeks before I was going to graduate, but it was like after 2 weeks we get our exams. That's how they were working it there. So it's Friday afternoon. But before we go home, there's a gal there. Her name was Jamie. I can't go any more than that because that's all we need to know about that. She had invited the whole 12th grade up to her house, her parents' house. It was up on Camelback Mountain. It was one of the ones, there wasn't many Camelback Mountain homes up there at the time. There's tons now. So we were all invited as a class because I guess everybody was going to graduate. I mean, they all had a high score average, and I considered myself going to graduate too. I figured, heck, I guess I can start studying. That's what I was thinking. So I told Mom that we had this party up there at Jamie's house, and Dad had his new Volkswagen, and Mom had her '69 Le Mans, which nobody was able to ever drive. Um, so Dad said, "Well, congratulations, son. It looks like you're going to graduate." And Mom said, "Boy, was she ever happy too, because now I can go to college, you know." And well, how did that go? Dad says, "Well, son, you can borrow my car to get up there." And Mom said, "Oh, no, no, son, you can borrow my car to go up there because you have a date and everything." I said, "Well, yeah, I might have a date, but if not, Mom, I'm gonna probably bring some friends up there, you know." And she says, "Oh, that's fine. That's okay." And she said, "Just make sure you drive carefully." I said, "Oh, I will, Mom." See, this '69 Le Mans, if anybody looks that up, it had a very sleek body. As fast as they go, a Le Mans is, especially the '69, that was a sweet car. It still had the fresh, brand new car smell. I'm telling you. It had low mileage. Mom babied it. No one drove it. Even Dad couldn't drive it. That's what I'm saying, how important it was that I was careful, and Mom was so proud of me. Maybe she lost her head or something and letting me drive the car, but she trusted me. She knew it was in good hands. So, oh, good gravy. No more gravy. I I just got a buzz here. I think my lawyers just called me. Let me tell you what, kids. I promise I'll get back to this because we really don't have much more to go. Not too much anyway. So let me take care of the business I have to, and I promise I will come back with a great little story for you to see how Uncle Martin. It really does get much more interesting. I promise. So, aloha. Be well. I'll be right back as soon as I can.